Yeah, we are at the stage now where joke is joke, but this ain't no joke.
Flashback.
Unexplained wealth orders, part 5. Madam Speaker, this is the dynamite provision of the law. Madam Speaker, I invite honorable members to read in particular the Antigua and Barbuda case of Ahmed Williams and the Supervisory Authority, and very importantly, the Honorable Mr. Justice Superstone in the National Crime Agency and Mrs. A. And these two judgments, I don't have the time to go through them, I'll deal with them in wrap-up. These two judgments treat with the propriety of civil asset forfeiture being entirely constitutional, being entirely different from a criminal process, and the fact that your assets can be treated with in a way to separate you from them by due process in a constitutional way. Unexplained wealth orders. What this basically says is, Chairman of Board of Inland Revenue, Customs and Excise Officer or Police Officer, responsible for financial investigations if there is a reasonable suspicion that the total wealth excludes or exceeds the value of lawfully obtained wealth and the property is owned by the respondent who is under his effective control. Those three entities, Madam Speaker, may apply to the court in writing for an order asking for a preliminary unexplained wealth order. Unexplained wealth order provision has immediate precedence in Section 32 of the Proceeds of Crime Act. There are grounds set out there. The unexplained wealth order is where St. Vincent and the Grenadines have reported that their once gold-wearing, blinging bandits on the street no longer parade upside and inside of any place across their country, enticing young people to join a gang activity because they realize that they will face the hurdle of unexplained wealth orders. These unexplained wealth orders are done in a due process environment. They have been the subject of case law which determines them to be constitutional. Madam Speaker, the grant of the unexplained wealth order leads to a potential forfeiture, again in a due process environment, after notice is given, where the defendant has an opportunity to traverse the case against him. And what we do in this particular case is we call upon the defendant to explain his wealth. That, as I mentioned in Section 5 of the Constitution, is not an obligation which is unknown to our existing law. The fact that a defendant has to prove a fact is entirely constitutional. And who better to explain how you bought your house, how you have a mansion worth X or Y, how you have a car, and who better to explain that, Madam Speaker, than the person that owns it, Madam Speaker? Because not everybody is brave enough to leave their name on a record for full public inspection. Madam Speaker, the rest of it, property outside of Trinidad and Tobago in clauses 68 onward, we treat with. And Madam Speaker, in the miscellaneous provisions, we deal with the harmonization of the consequential amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act, etc. But Madam Speaker, I'd like to say, as I come to a quick conclusion, there not being enough time. This law went through 2.5 years of consultation. The Law Association in particular, we waited on their comments for 10 months straight. We made sure that it made the round. There are 5,000 attorneys at law on the record, and every last one of them registered with the Law Association received this bill. 10 months after agitating the Law Association in particular, after dealing with the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Criminal Justice Advisor, the people that drafted the laws for St. Vincent and Grenadines, the UK experts that assisted us in this law, dealing with the Financial Action Task Force, the UNODC, the IMF, after dealing with all of these laws and looking at the constitutionality of this law, Madam Speaker, this law today defines which side of the fence you are on. This law gives Trinidad and Tobago a chance to take the proceeds of crime, and I beg to move.
A few moments later.
I've been getting threats from certain officials of state that I am next and Balisier House is next.
CNC3 News asked if he was worried about the warning he said he received from an official.
Me? I look worried to you? Do I look worried to you?